The FBI says those two rifles were recovered along with two handguns and thousands of rounds of ammunition after the siege at the Disability Center and the later shootout with police. The FBI says the suspected gunman bought the handguns himself. Apparently they were registered to him, but not the rifles that you're seeing on your screen. All these guns bought legally years ago, according to the government. Joining us now, Fox News' Greg Jarrett. So talk us through that, because we're hearing the guns are bought legally.
Right.
We're not so clear about the ownership of the long guns originally,
right.
But we're also hearing that California has extremely strict gun laws. So tell us a little bit about how this all comes together.
The guns that were used were semi-automatic rifles, which are perfectly legal in the state of California. In other words, every time you press the trigger, it fires one round. And usually 10 rounds in a clip.
That's part of the law.
Right. What is illegal is to turn them into assault weapons, which continue to fire when the trigger is depressed and they have more than 10 bullets in the magazine. That's a high-capacity clip. As you know, that's illegal in the state of California.
So turning it into a fully automatic weapon.
Except an assault rifle is what they generally call it, but yes, fully automatic weapon. Here's the thing. Manufacturers are allowed to build them that way with what's called a bullet button. That is to say, you take the tip of a button, of a bullet, you press a button, and it turns your semi-automatic legal weapon into an illegal assault weapon. And apparently, that's what happened here, except it failed when the killers tried to do it.
So you're saying they had to alter the weapons.
That's right.
In a way that would make them illegal?
That's right.
So that's something else to watch. Talk to us a little bit about the weapons that they had. When we're talking about the sales of those weapons and what was legal and what was not. What do we know about this other person who bought the rifles and how they somehow wound up in the hands of these alleged terrorists at this point?
The latest information we have is that law enforcement is searching for this other individual, but they're saying that it was bought legally. Now, what his role was in the high-capacity clips, which, as we mentioned, are illegal, we don't know. More than 1,000 rounds of ammunition, which is an astonishing. There was a whole complex of weaponry, allegedly, inside the garage.
And just so we're clear, when we say legal, Greg, we don't necessarily mean that these weapons are easy to get. I think sometimes people think, well, just because they're legal, that means you can just walk into a gun shop and get the weapons. But that's not the case anywhere in the country. You have to go through a series of steps to actually obtain a legal weapon.
That's right. And it's interesting that law enforcement is saying they were obtained legally. That is to say, through a licensed gun dealer who did a background check to make sure these are not convicted felons, that they're not suspected terrorists, that they're not people out to do harm. There's a 10-day waiting period. But again, even though the killers bought the handguns legally through a licensed dealer, we don't know the individual who bought what turned out to be the almost assault weapons.
Okay, final question here. A lot of our viewers have been asking